Let's review Disgaea D2, a strategy RPG created by Nippon Ichi Software and released in 2013 for the PlayStation 3. This game was released between Disgaea 4 and Disgaea 5. It continues the story from the first Disgaea Hour of Darkness for the PlayStation 2. Disgaea stands out among other strategy RPGs due to its anti-hero story, its fourth wall breaking humor, and its high maximum level and stats. In the story, you play as Laharl, a demon overlord who rules the Netherworld. Laharl is a childish tyrant, making somewhat of a twist in an RPG where you play as the bad guy. Much of the humor is simply because the crew are so comically evil, but it's more slapstick comedy rather than anything tragic. Disgaea is a parody game where every game mechanic is not only turned up to 11, but rather to 1 trillion. The gameplay is absurd, and it knows that it's absurd. You get to live your power fantasy, becoming so overpowered that you'll deal trillions of damage. The end game content is so strong, you can play for months and not get bored. It's not unlike an MMO in that progression never stops. There are many game mechanics that make this game different than most strategy RPGs. This game allows you to pick up and toss allies to cover more range. You can have 10 characters stacked up on top of each other, making for some interesting tactics and some hilarious visuals. Another unique mechanic are the geopanels. They are certain blocks that, if placed on a colored area, will create certain effects within the colored area. These blocks can have huge effects, such as not allowing any character to enter or making characters inside invincible. Many of the story levels are puzzles for traversing a set of cleverly arranged geopanels. Geopanels are a bit confusing and take a while to get used to, but can be quite rewarding to solve. This Disgaea entry simplifies some of the leveling systems from the earlier entries in the series. For example, a lot of mechanics in the previous games were all moved to a single menu that is called the cheat shop. Similarly, the dojo is the equivalent of clubs in the third Disgaea game, but is also simplified. You can simply select your apprentice whenever you want. While the complex system was perfectly fine, I also enjoyed the simplified system. The progression system in this game is complex enough to not be able to fit in a review, but I could give a few examples on how far this progression system goes. You could level up to 9,999, but that's just the beginning of your growth. You could reincarnate back to level 1 again and again for extra stats. I finished this game at level 300 and it took me 25 hours. Leveling to 9,999 can be quite challenging. Leveling up isn't the only way to get stronger. You can strengthen your gear. Each item in the game had its own 100-floor dungeon built in, with items gaining strength every 10 levels you clear. You can also level skills and spend mana to pass improvements on your character. There are so many different ways to get stronger that you have quite a bit of freedom to decide what you want to grind. Grinding itself has a lot of strategy involved. Grinding smart is more important than grinding long. The sprite art style is clean, pretty, and full of personality. There are plenty of animations, and many of the skill animations are humorous and entertaining. The music is also full of character, with plenty of spooky tongue-in-cheek vibes. Sadly, I feel the camera angles is a bit limited, but that's one price you pay for 2D sprites in a 3D environment. I have to give respect to the UI designers in this game. This game has very complex mechanics with a lot of information that needs to be presented to the user. The fact that all of this information can be available without looking cluttered is a minor miracle. I reached the end credit in 25 hours, and I played with animations turned on for most of the run. Finishing a Disgaea game is only the beginning of a true experience. Disgaea shines in the post-game. Sadly, I have yet to finish the post-game because it will take hundreds of hours and have other games to review, but everything in this game has been pretty great so far. I plan to finish the post-game eventually. The Disgaea series remains one of my most recommended strategy RPG series, with the other being Fire Emblem. If you are a strategy RPG fan, I highly recommend giving this one a try. If you want to see a playthrough of the game, you can check my playthrough in the description below. Thanks for watching and happy gaming!